Well, let's just take you briefly to the scene live in Baltimore. Let's take you to the scene of the collapsed bridge, if we can. We can show you what's happening there. We've seen the bridge collapsed in the water. There you go. You can see the ship, the cargo ship there in the distance. The bridge collapsed in the water. A good 2/3 of the ship are underwater now. Officials in Baltimore say the search and rescue operation is still underway to try to find people who fell from the bridge when it was hit by that container ship on Tuesday morning. Well, let's take you live to Baltimore. There's a press conference about to start any second with the Maryland governor, Wes Moore. It's scheduled for, well, for now. We will, of course, try and bring you that as soon as it happens. That's the press conference. The world's press have all gathered there to listen to what he has to say. In the meantime, the National Transportation Safety Board is involved in the investigation into what happened. It says it hasn't yet been able to access the ship's recording devices. So just how did this massive bridge come crashing down so easily? Rebecca Morell has been looking at the sequence of events.
So what do we know about what actually happened in Baltimore? Well, data analysed by BBC Verify shows the ship set off from the port at 1:45 in the morning local time. Now, the Dali is a 300-metre long container ship. On board were 2 pilots. These are mariners from the local port with a specialist knowledge to guide the vessel out to sea. It was heading towards the central section of the bridge, which is wide enough and high enough for the ship to pass through, but it veered off course, crashing into this support column. So what happened? Well, in this video, the ship is nearing the bridge, but at 1:24 a.m, the lights suddenly go out. A major technical fault, we think, happened. And then at 1:25, a minute later, the lights come back on. Now, 3 minutes after this, you start to see black smoke billowing from the ship. And there on the bridge, you can see the work vehicles where the team are fixing potholes on the bridge. Now, a mayday call went out. Then moments later, at 1:28 a.m, the ship collided with the bridge and caused it to collapse.
If you lose power while manoeuvring, there's a possibility you could lose control of the steering of the vessel momentarily. There are regulations as to how quickly you have to be able to regain that control if that does happen. But obviously, in such a confined area, those seconds or minutes can make the difference between having a collision or not.
So why did such a large part of the bridge collapse? Well, the bridge opened in 1977 and at its centre is a continuous structure which is 366 metres long, and underneath that there are 4 support columns. Now, bridges are tested for impacts, but we don't know if the calculations would have included a vessel this size. Ships are bigger now than they were in the 70s, and the head-on collision took out an entire load-bearing structure.
You have a long element that's supported by 4 supports, and you're simply removing one of them. I could not imagine another situation where a bridge like that would resist such a massive force.
A major search effort is still going on, using sonar to try and locate any vehicles that fell into the 15 metres of water. And an investigation into the tragedy has already begun.
That was Rebecca Morell there. Well, let's take you live now to Baltimore, and you can see on the screen next to me, we are waiting for a press conference. That conference is going to be chaired by the governor of Maryland, who is Wes Moore, and he will be giving a press conference imminently. We'll keep that on the screen so that we can keep an eye on it for you. And if he does stand to speak, we will take you there immediately. In the meantime, throughout the course of today, we have heard from many of those affected by the disaster. Alex Del Sardo is the owner of the Hard Yacht Club and Anchor Bay Marina. It's pretty close to the bridge. He and his colleagues were there throughout the day. Here's what he described to me.
So at about 1:48 this morning, they heard this incredible rumbling noise, and we compare it to like a train moving through a town. And then by 3 o'clock, there was a phone call saying from the fire department, like, we're on our way. And by 3:15 this morning, we started fueling up the first responders here at our dock. I got to the marina about 5 o'clock. We had others arrive as early as 4 in the morning. And there has just been a flurry of activity all day long. First responders, police, fire, all over coming here to Hard Yacht Cafe, to Anchor Bay, fueling up, getting warm, and getting back out there because we're just about a mile away from the bridge.
You must be in shock.
Shock is probably the best word to use. It's a bridge. I drive that bridge multiple times a day. I take it home and I take it here every single day. I was on it last night at 6:30, and that's the last time I'll be on it for a very, very long time. It's unbelievable.
How busy is that bridge normally? Because at the time of the accident, it was about 1:30 in the morning, so it wouldn't have been as busy as it would normally be. Just give me an idea, a flavour of the traffic that goes on that bridge on a daily basis.
Oh gosh, I don't know what it's like in London, but the traffic is unbelievable. At our hours at 4 o'clock, 4:30, it could take you 10 minutes to get over, 15 minutes to get over. There's 30,000 cars that go through that thing on a daily basis, and when I take it home at night at 6:30, there's not a whole lot of inches available. I'm usually one of many, many cars.
Talk to me a little bit about what is around the bridge, because this is a bridge that takes you from one side of Baltimore to another. Without this infrastructure, is there an alternative for people now to use?
There is. It's extremely difficult. There's an Amazon distribution factory. There's so many this is a major, major port. So at the start of 695 Bridge, you have major industry happening. On the other side, you have so much more activity on the marina side. So you'd have to go up and around the Beltway. You're going to have to be using 895 tunnel as well as 95 tunnel. The disruption is unfathomable. I cannot believe what has happened, and it's going to disrupt our markets in a big way.